Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
सलाम अलैकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము,
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जिनेंद्र.
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे या अली मदद.
मोला अली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी बंधुओं को बोले नीसा बुला बटजन. हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे. मैं से फालतू बाबा.
And of course, myself, फालतू रानी, लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time on another fantastic Friday. Totally exciting and totally mastani bन जानी.
That's right, Bajan. A quick look at what's happening on the roads. Raste ka haal total sustainable.
It's time for the Bandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Let me remind you, Bajan, COVID shelter in place day number 144 is in progress right now. And yes, shelter in place ka hi mahol chal raha hai on the freeways. We still not actually have officially opened up per se, but many businesses are operational. They say that there's going to be one more surge coming up, but we don't know. Let's hope that doesn't happen, and then we actually have a vaccine and also some kind of a treatment for the virus in a couple of weeks if possible. And let's see, roads pe to of course, but then there's a traffic hazard reported on 101 northbound exiting at Willow Road, Menlo Park. The off ramp is affected there. Watch out for that. Apart from that, all the other freeways are looking smooth. I do see some report of an accident on 680 northbound in the Crow Canyon Road. Watch out for that. It's not affecting traffic, but definitely some kind of debris on the road there. And high wind advisory in effect on 580 eastbound and the westbound between Vasco Road. Watch out for that for sure. And what of course is some traffic which actually, it's a very small area, but there's a lot of a traffic congestion happening over there. Watch out for that. And then some kind of a congestion happening on the San Mateo Bridge getting towards East Bay. So you've got to watch out for that. And that's about it for you guys for traffic update. Bajan, isn't that a wonderful thing, Fatwani? The traffic looking nice and cool, and the weather outside is awesome. It's like, now it's getting hotter. I don't know why it should be hotter, but it's getting hotter. Now it's like in the 72s and like upper 70s, lower 70s actually. But then we actually going to be having a temperature of 82 approximately maximum. Anyway, it's a good weather. California, that's why you pay high taxes, right?
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 82 degrees today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, so hot.
Well, yeah, so hot it was, 100 something, 98 something over. Remember what summertime? What is it?
Yeah,
How can you complain, Faldo? How can
But
you
we're
complain?
not in the summer, we're getting into the fall.
Well, good thing we're sheltering in place right now, so you actually can be in a weather-controlled environment with the air conditioning and everything, thanks to science and technology.
Right.
Well, Faldo, right now let's go see what's happening in the news headlines. Banjan, this is the headlines for you guys, which you get free from the Media Mahima blog, with sub news for you guys, which are pertinent. In fact, links for the news we share on air are also available on the same blog, MediaMahima.com. But now this is the headlines.
Top U.S. Democrats Pelosi, Schumer call on the White House to negotiate Friday on coronavirus relief. Trump wants to bypass the U.S. coronavirus aid talks with an executive order. Can he? U.S. surpasses 160,000 coronavirus deaths as school openings near. All New York schools can open for in-person learning, according to Governor Andrew Cuomo. And the University of Washington is forecasting 300,000 U.S. COVID-19 deaths by the end of the year.
Wow.
And the U.S. job growth decelerated in July and cast a shadow on recovery strength. Breaking news from India, really sad news. Air India Express B737 overshoots Kozhikode airport on landing, falls into the valley and breaks into two. Several people are feared dead and injured. And Sushant Singh Rajput case, an update on that. The centre is moving the Supreme Court to seek to be pleaded as a party in Riya Chakraborty's plea. What is that about? Well, you'll find out more shortly.
That's how I'll find out more on that for sure. Lekin abhi ke liye, as you guys know, it's time for us to be going into a Gani Ka Keeda. And aaj ka Gani Ka Keeda Banjan will be something which I'm bringing you from the past. And this song, I think it's sung by Kishore Kumar. There's actually two versions of the same song, Fatma. Do you know that?
Uh-huh.
There's one happy version sung by a guy and a sad version sung by a female. I don't know why a reprised version has to be by a female.
Why?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah?
There's a sad version also of the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here you go. From the movie Munim Ji Banjan, in the voice of Kishore Kumar, picturized on Devanand and Nalini Jain. Jayawant.
जीवन के सफर में राही मिलते हैं बिछड़ जाने को और दे जाते हैं यादें तन्हाई में तड़पाने को ओ हो ओ हो जीवन के सफर में राही मिलते हैं बिछड़ जाने को और दे जाते हैं यादें तन्हाई में तड़पाने को ये रूप की दौलत वाले कब सुनते हैं दिल के नाले हो ये रूप की दौलत वाले कब सुनते हैं दिल के नाले तकदीर न बस में डाले इनके किसी दीवाने को जीवन के सफर में राही मिलते हैं बिछड़ जाने को और दे जाते हैं यादें तन्हाई में तड़पाने को इनकी नजर से खेले दुख पाए मुसीबत झेले हो जो इनकी नजर से खेले दुख पाए मुसीबत झेले फिरते हैं ये सब अलबेले दिल लेके मुकर जाने को जीवन के सफर में राही मिलते हैं बिछड़ जाने को और दे जाते हैं यादें तन्हाई में तड़पाने को
Of course, Banjan, that was the Gani Ka Keeda. And yeah, फिर से बजेगा before we leave Banjan was because Gani Ka Keeda, no, it's a stuck on you song which we try to make sure we can get stuck onto you the whole day, Banjan. And that was a song from the movie Munim Ji, a very old movie, 1950s. Oh my God, 1955. Well, actually, Banjan, Friday के दिन is ये शाम मस्तानी. So उसी mood में हम लोग ऐसे गाने बजाए Banjan.
There is a reprise version also of the song?
Oh yeah, there was. You don't know that?
Nahi.
Probably we'll play it in the evening Fakers, Banjan. Definitely for sure tune in कीजिएगा भूलने का नहीं. And of course, Banjan, now it's time for us to go and check out the news in detail. So, Faltani, do we have the news for our bandhus, which is going to be something they can actually get more than just those headlines you threw out at them?
Yes, Altu Baba. Obviously, they can get more. Well, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer urged the White House to join them again on Friday in talks on proposals for coronavirus relief. Trump had actually threatened to pull White House negotiators out of talks and instead issue executive orders to address some economic needs. In a statement, Pelosi and Schumer said the latest jobs report showed more investments were needed and called on White House negotiators, quote, to join us once again at the negotiating table today to secure a bipartisan government. And in the meanwhile, let's explain a little bit about why Trump probably can he bypass the U.S. coronavirus aid talks. With the congressional Democrats and White House negotiators so far unable to agree on a deal to salve the heavy economic toll of the coronavirus pandemic, President Trump threatened to bypass Congress with an executive order. He seems like one of those petulant children, you know. If you don't do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give an executive order. I can imagine him going there and saying that. You know, it's like, you guys are useless kind of thing, right? So some of his proposals exceed his legal authority and would face immediate legal challenges, though in at least one case, House of Reps Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the nation's top Democrat, told him, just go ahead, is what she said. What does Trump want to do? Well, he said on Twitter he's considering executive orders to continue expanded unemployment benefits, reinstate a moratorium on evictions, cut payroll taxes, and continue a suspension of student loan repayments amid a health crisis that has killed nearly 160,000 Americans. He and administration officials negotiating with Congress have not provided any specifics. Can he do it? Well, the Constitution puts control of federal spending in the hands of Congress, not the president. So Trump does not have the legal authority to issue executive orders determining how money should be spent on the coronavirus aid relief. So technically he can't. But let's tell you, as we are debating on this, what is happening at this particular point in time is that more than 160,000 people have died from the coronavirus pandemic in the United States, nearly a quarter of the global total, according to a Reuters tally on Friday, as the country debates whether schools are ready to reopen in the coming weeks. The country recorded 160,003 deaths and 4.91 million cases, the highest caseload in the world, caused in part by lingering problems in making rapid testing widely available and resistance in some quarters to masks and social distancing measures. Coronavirus deaths are rising in 23 states and cases are rising in 20 states. According to a Reuters analysis of data, the past 2 weeks compared with the prior 2 weeks. You can find out more about which states are talking about the highest number of coronavirus cases, but New York, which was at the forefront for a very long time, is doing fairly well, and California, which was one of the first to address it, is doing terrible. All New York schools, for that matter, now meet state standards to open for in-person classes, according to Governor Andrew Cuomo. His state, which was once the epicenter of the nation's COVID-19 crisis, can open for in-person learning in the fall based on their current low infection rates of the virus. All New York regions have met the reopening threshold that Cuomo set in July. The governor said on Friday that the infection rates of the disease below 5% over on a 14-day average. And the rate of COVID-19 tests that came back on Thursday was just 1% statewide, Cuomo said. So, good news on that end. But in the University of Washington, there's a very grim forecast that's coming up. In the Jan, nearly 300,000 Americans could be dead from COVID-19 by December 1st, according to the University of Washington health experts who released their statement today. Actually, not today, yesterday. Although they said 70,000 lives could be saved if people were scrupulous about wearing masks. The latest predictions from the university's widely cited Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, that's IHME, comes as top White House infectious disease advisors warned that major U.S. cities could erupt as new coronavirus hotspots if officials there were not vigilant with countermeasures. We're seeing a roller coaster in the United States. It appears that people are wearing masks and socially distancing more frequently as infections increase. Then, after a while, as infections drop, people are letting their guard down, Dr. Christopher Murray, director of IHME, said in announcing the university's revised forecast. So, if you're masking up, please do continue to mask up. In the meanwhile, the U.S. employment numbers came out. U.S. employment growth slowed considerably in July amid a resurgence in new COVID-19 infections, offering the clearest evidence yet that the economy's recovery from the recession caused by the pandemic was faltering. The Labor Department's closely watched employment report on Friday files pressure on the White House and Congress to reach an agreement on another aid package. Talks have been dragging over differences on major issues, including the size of a government benefit for tens of millions of unemployed workers. A $600 weekly unemployment benefit expired last Friday, while thousands of businesses have burned through loans offered by the government to help with wages. Right now, everything is on very, very shaky ground. Without seatbelts for the unemployed, provided by additional fiscal stimulus, the economy could be in for a very bumpy ride, according to Chris Rupke, a chief economist at MUFG in New York. So, it's grim all over, Altu Baba. Yeah. Well, another huge news item that's coming out is that Air India Express flight from Dubai with 190 people on board overshot the Kozhikode freeway on landing at 7:41 p.m. on Friday. That's just happened a couple of hours ago, Banajan. Kozhikode is a tabletop airport, and the Boeing 737, according to preliminary information, fell off the runway and then broke into two. Senior BJP leader from Kerala, KJ Alphonse, has tweeted, second tragedy of the day in Kerala. Air India Express skids off the runway at Kozhikode. A front portion splits, pilot dies, and lots of passengers are injured. They're still trying to get numbers on how many passengers were evacuated, how many were injured, how many more deaths. So it is really, really sad. There are unconfirmed reports of casualties, so we will bring you the update right here on MediaMahima.com. You can go and look it up over there as well. Gujarat's new policy is seeking to woo industries looking to relocate their business from China. The Gujarat government on Friday announced its new industrial policy, which aims to boost job creation and manufacturing and create an innovation-driven ecosystem in the state. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, while announcing the new policy, said the companies which want to shift their operations from China and other countries in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic were welcome to set up base in Gujarat. The policy envisions a spend of 8,000 crore rupees annually on industrial development. Isn't that awesome what India is doing now? Gujarat stands first in terms of number of industrial entrepreneurship memorandums, with 51% share of IEMs filed in India in terms of value in 2019, the Chief Minister said. If you want to catch up more on that, you can go to MediaMahima.com. Some news from Bollywood, Bandajan, actually from the legal department in India. Bollywood actor Sushant Singh Rajput's suicide case seems to be getting more and more complicated with each day. With his father KK Singh filing an FIR against Riya Chakrabarti in Patna, charging her with abetment to suicide, theft and wrongful confinement and cheating as well. Meanwhile, the central government has accepted the request of Bihar government recommending a probe by CBI in the case. Riya Chakrabarti is now at something called an enforcement directorate, right? And she left after 8 hours of interrogation, and what now the center is seeking is that they've moved the Supreme Court to make itself a party to actress Riya Chakrabarti's plea for transferring the FIR lodged against her in Patna to Mumbai in connection with the actor Sushant Singh Rajput's death. What does that mean?
That means probably doesn't have any friends in the place where there's been Bihar.
Yeah, basically they're saying that in Bombay they have been hushing up. It's Gunda Raj. Basically, the police have hushed up, and they didn't actually investigate it. They ruled out foul play, but people are saying that there has been foul play in this case because there were threats to Sushant Singh Rajput's life just a month before. And if you want to catch up on all of these stories, Banajan, you can actually go to MediaMahima.com. Again, MediaMahima.com is the website where you could go and you can catch up on all these news stories that we just shared with you. And if you want to also share your news story, if there's something that you wanted to share with us, you can also go to bandhu@mediamahima.com is the email that you would send an email to. I wanted to quickly share something else, a breaking news update that came out about Mohammed bin Salman, the Prince of Saudi Arabia. Well, a former top Saudi intelligence official has said that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman sent an assassination squad to murder him just after journalist Jamal Khashoggi was murdered by members of the same group in 2018. Dr. Saad Al-Jabri says he fell out with the Crown Prince known as MBS and he fled the country in 2017. So he sent out an assassination squad against him. And those of you who've been using TikTok, guys, please uninstall those apps because it is now banned by the United States. You cannot use this
Whoa.
particular app. Yes. He signed an executive order yesterday, President Trump, banning this popular app from operating in the US if it isn't sold by its Chinese-owned parent company in 45 days. Similar declaration has been issued against WeChat, so please be careful if you're using any one of these platforms. You're not supposed to be. That's all we have for you. We will see you tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Tab tak ke liye, have yourselves a fantastic Friday.
बिछड़ जाने को और दे जाते हैं यादें तन्हाई में तड़पाने को ओ हो ओ हो ओ हो जीवन के सफर